The Framework Mapper is a powerful tool to proactively analyze your third party's risk posture through a selected framework to uncover controls that may leave you vulnerable. The results provide a score for each control that you can use to determine whether a conversation with the third party is required or if internal mitigation is necessary. The Framework Mapper can help procurement and legal departments vet third parties by analyzing their risk, assessment-focused TPRMs in prioritizing their requests using insights, provide SecOps the ability to uncover high-risk blind spots, and allow TPRMs to react quickly to a zero-day attack. The Framework Mapper allows you to uncover granular details by taking your third party's cyber risk assessment answers and mapping them to your choice of frameworks like MITRE or NIST, industry profiles such as HIPAA or GDPR, or cyber threat profiles built on real-world attacks like Hafnium, LockBit, and many more, to uncover the level of risk a particular control or subcontrol poses to your day-to-day operations. To access the Framework Mapper, let's start at the Portfolio Management dashboard, where you can select a third party. On the third party's profile page, we navigate to the Assessment tab to access the Framework Mapper. By clicking on the drop-down, you can select from our library of frameworks, industry, or threat profiles and map it to the third party's assessment answers. The ability to pick and choose which framework or profile is critical in providing you insights that are relevant to your operations. If a third party's assessment is not available to you, you can supplement results using our predictive data, which has up to 91% accuracy and is produced by applying advanced machine learning to a variety of sources, including exchange data from over 14,000 self-assessments validated by CyberGRX, firmographics, and outside-in scanning data. These sources are used to predict how a typical company would answer its assessments. Using predictive data allows a TPRM team to begin making decisions today instead of waiting on an assessment, confidently analyze lower-risk third parties, and quickly compare prospective third parties based on their risk posture. After you click the download, it's time to review the results. The Framework Mapper download shows you the selected profile's control and its descriptions in the blue-colored columns, while the orange-colored columns represent the CyberGRX framework, including scores, our assessment's control ID, name, whether it's a primary or supporting control, the score basis, which highlights where the score was derived from, the third party's answers, and the question's validation status. To begin analyzing the results, we'll focus on the Framework Control Score and the CyberGRX Control Score. The Framework Control Score is a weighted average of answers to a family of subcontrol questions, while the CyberGRX Control Score is the individual control score. If a third party took a Tier 1 assessment, their scores would range from 0 to 100, whereas if they took a Tier 2 assessment, their scores would range from 0 to 85. Predictive data scores will also range from 0 to 85 since predictive data uses a Tier 2 assessment as its base. Suppose you are looking for a high-level understanding of your third party's risk. In that case, filtering the Framework Control Score column from low to high is a great way to gauge your third party's security by seeking out control IDs or names of the areas of service they provide, then reviewing the lower scores for potential security blind spots. If you want to get down to the details, filter the CyberGRX Control Score column to see which specific subcontrols can be exploited. By reviewing the scores and the third party's answers in the Answer State column, a TPRM team can determine how to address these concerns internally or with their third party with data in hand. And remember, if the third party takes action to mitigate any gaps, they can update their assessment answers accordingly, and the residual risk analysis provided on their profile page will update in real time. Let's revisit some of our use cases and see how we can use Framework Mapper to solve common problems TPRM programs face. A medical records company is vetting two third parties, First and 15th Payroll Processing and Atlas Cloud Inc., who are two of over 14,000 attested assessments on the CyberGRX exchange. In this instance, First and 15th Payroll has a Tier 1 validated assessment, so their scores will range from 0 to 100, while Atlas Cloud has a Tier 2 validated assessment, so their scores will range from 0 to 85. Once the medical records company is authorized to view the assessments, they would go to each company's profile page, select the HIPAA industry profile from the Framework Mapper dropdown, and download the file. From there, they can compare important framework control groups like threat protection, where First Payroll has a 99 while Atlas Cloud has a 0, or security incident response and reporting, which focuses on incident investigation, classification, containment, and reporting. Here, First and 15th Payroll processing scores a 91 while Atlas Cloud scores a 62. If the scores for First and 15th Payroll processing are acceptable to the TPRM team, they have a clear winner on which third party to go with. If not, they can address these concerns directly with the third party by addressing each subcontrol that needs further discussion. An education system uses a third party called Swipe Point of Sales for all transactions in their bookstores, gift shops, and various eateries on campus. With such a high level of dependency and access to their network, the SecOps team wants to ensure proper due diligence regarding their infrastructure security. By selecting an in-depth security framework like NIST and reviewing the results, the team can filter the answer states column for no or skipped answers to see areas of concern the third party lacks. If they want to go a step further, they could also filter any scores that have zeros or low scores. By reviewing these controls in question, the team can develop internal mitigation strategies to cut off access to certain areas to increase their security. In the instance of a zero-day breach, a TPRM team and their CISO will need to act quickly to ensure security concerns. In the case of threat profiles, CyberGRX uses multiple sources to develop a thorough profile within a few days and continues to update in real time as new information is learned about an attack. A financial company with locations across the globe uses MoveIt, a file transfer software, to send encrypted files. A zero-day attack is underway, and the exploit allows bad actors to access sensitive data. Moving quickly, the CISO and their TPRM team analyze key third parties and map their assessments to the MoveIt threat profile. However, one of their newest vendors, 4D Internet Solutions, is pending an assessment. Fortunately for the CISO, the third party is one of over 250,000 companies on the exchange with a CyberGRX predictive risk profile, which can be supplemented in lieu of an assessment. By selecting the appropriate MoveIt breach threat profile and downloading the results, the CISO can view the predictive responses with up to 91% accuracy. When reviewing predictive results, keep in mind that the scores will range from 0 to 85. The CISO and their team could filter the CyberGRX control score column and begin reviewing the most risky controls and work their way up to the least risky controls and determine which controls can be mitigated internally and which need to be addressed with the third party. Access to detailed insights allows the CISO and their team to make educated decisions driven by data. The Framework Mapper is an immensely versatile tool that can drive your TPRM program forward with granular data insights necessary to make decisions. Find specific vulnerabilities and ensure proper due diligence to maintain a high level of confidence in your security. CyberGRX's award-winning data and powerful features can streamline and push your TPRM program forward, no matter the size of your portfolio or your resources.